Zillow leads and becoming more of his own Zillow, right? So that's something I'm super focused on right now. Is like stop buying Zillow and become Zillow. We all have that capability with the real estate technology that's at our disposal. Now, it's super key to just like have this mindset like burn into your brain that generating the leads is the easy part. It's converting them into contacts and appointments. That's the hard part. Okay, so that's why we're going to focus on conversion, because literally all you have to have in this day and age is a credit card. I mean, I've said this a bunch. You can pay JPAR $300 a month, and they're going to generate 75 leads for you. And there's tons of sites out there like that, right? Where you just swipe that card, the leads are going to come in. Seller leads and buyer leads. What do we know, Blake, about the number of touches that the average agent makes to convert a lead that they purchase?
10 to 15.
That's what it takes to convert it, but what is the average agent? What is their...
Oh, what's their touch rate?
Yeah. What is the
I think
average?
it drops after 2.
How many attempts do they make?
2 attempts, and then drops 65% of the agents that'll even follow up past that.
Yeah, so there's $100 million being spent on leads in our industry, but no more homes are getting sold. Okay, so we don't have a lead generation issue, we have a lead conversion issue. Got it? All right, Jacob, we rolling? All right, let's get started with our panel. I know, Keri, you probably want to go first, right? Now, here's what I'm going to ask you to do, okay, is we're not trying to impress anybody in the audience. We're just here, we're here to tell the truth, okay? So, Carrie Baldwin, and don't be nervous, there's 3 cameras pointing at you right now. Okay, and I've got this one zoomed so I can see right up your nose. So Keri, one thing I know about Keri, before she came here, she said 2 things. She said she's not doing 2 things. She said, I'll come, but I ain't doing these 2 things. One was make videos, and 2 was make phone calls. And she's doing both. But one thing we knew about Keri is that she is a homegrown girl, right? Oh. So she's got a big sphere of influence, and she's super loud. We all know that. Yeah, Marshall knows that now. Anybody that's not been around Keri automatically knows that now. But she has a big sphere of influence. And Keri, can you tell us why at your prior brokerage or your prior real estate life before getting here, why weren't you calling and loving on your sphere of influence?
I think it was a lack of self-confidence. It was a lack of or fear of rejection, lack of education and actually knowing what to do and how to do that successfully. But that is all changed. I have gotten a lot more listings, whatever you would call it. With reaching out to my sphere of influence, I'm seeing now that the referrals are starting to come in a lot more than they have been. And it takes just actually loving on your sphere of influence, whether that is sending a birthday card, sending your kids a birthday card, taking them out to lunch every once in a while. Just a quick text, really, just, hey, I'm just thinking about you, or, hey, I saw something that reminded me of you today. Just to keep that constant line of communication open is super important.
Okay. So I know, I'm just going to speak for the industry for a second. What I hear predominantly from agents is they do not want to prospect, but they'd rather prospect to a stranger than they would somebody that they already have an established relationship with. Part of that anxiety or angst is that they don't want to ask people that they're in a relationship with for business. It's like, hey, let's keep our business, it's like church and state, right? Let's keep business separate from personal. So when you call your sphere of influence, are you saying, hey, you know anybody wants to buy, sell, or invest?
I think it's just kind of a case-by-case basis. It just depends on how that conversation goes and how close I am to that specific person. If it's somebody that I haven't really talked to in a while, I'll, start that conversation as just kind of like catch-up thing. Hey, like, what's been going on? I saw you on Facebook doing this or whatever it may be. Sometimes it is a situation that I am close to that person, and I know that person might have just had their third child, and I know that they are living in a 3-2, and I know that house is quickly the walls are quickly closing in and they need a bigger place to go to. So I'll, make a joke or something. It just depends on how close I am with that person, really. I'll reach out and say, hey, congratulations on a baby. You need a bigger house, and the conversation just kind of rolls from there. It's just you kind of have to read your audience and be able to fill out those specific people. Everybody's different, so.
Well, and the argument that I make with agents is if you make it about them on the front end of the conversation,
Yeah.
on the back end of the conversation, they're going to go, hey, what's up with you? Oh, I'm so glad you asked. I've got like all these listings coming up. My business is blowing up. People that are looking possibly to buy homes in these areas because these are where my listings are going to be. They're opening the door for you to talk about your business. Yeah. I'm so glad that you brought up Facebook because we had an agent speak at one of our real estate events. She was actually from Blake's motherland of Canada. And she uses Facebook as, yeah, he is. And he's an ice fishing champion. He's got all these things.
That's true.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But she uses Facebook as this. Canada. Blake, that's enough. He gets so excited about his mother.
Love it.
I want to crush him through.
Yeah. A lot of times I just tuck it away and just that's how I fall asleep. In my dreams, I punch him.
But then you see me coming at you with that Louis Vuitton box, and he's a Louis Vuitton box ninja.
Yep.
But she uses Facebook as this, I don't know what's the word for it. It's like this, Facebook provides opportunities for conversations with this group of employees. So she sees somebody just had a baby, or she sees it's their birthday. If she sees, she's stalking them on Facebook to see what's going on in their life, to look for talking points. If she sees that they're sick, if they got COVID, boom, she just puts a casserole on their front door. So she's using that as an opportunity to go, hey, I saw this, I saw that. And that can make it easier, because another thing we know is that people are like, well, if I call them, I haven't talked to them in so long, I don't know what's going on with them, I don't know what to say. Blake, what do you got?
If I'm not mistaken, wasn't that the one that her first 3 years in, she was a stay-at-home mom and she did maybe 600,000 total in those 3 or 4 years. Then she got really serious about it, and
your flashlight.
Yeah, I turned on my flashlight by accident, but she ended up doing a lot more.
Yeah, she sold 100 houses a year.
Yeah,
but went from that to that.
Yeah, she started a Facebook group for her community. It's like, was it Moms of Edmonton? I don't know what
something like that.
But that was a great thing for her business as well. All right, so Keri, how many opportunities do you have going on right now from your sphere of influence?
Like how many listing agreements? Is that what you're asking, or what exactly?
Stuff coming up.
Potential contracts.
Things that are in your pipeline. How is your pipeline looking?
I've got one about to close. I've got 2 more coming soon next week. I've got 3 or 4 more after that should be coming soon in the next couple of weeks. In addition to that, those are also, some of those are buyers as well. So, and then I have got buyers that aren't quite ready. Diane's helping me on those. But it's looking pretty good.
Well, I tell people when they come in here that, and I feel like this is a super low estimate, that in your mobile device, if you're local to the market that you serve, you've got about 5 opportunities in your phone at any given time. 5 opportunities. So, you're just living proof that there's a ton of opportunities inside your contact list on the phone. What do real estate agents want? Like, they come to the store and they're like, what's like realtor clickbait? Do I know? Leads.
Yeah.
I need leads. Give me some leads to call. Well, they're all on your phone.
Yeah, I was gonna say some of them, only one of mine is from a lead. The rest of them are from my sphere of influence. And I think the biggest advice I could give is make sure that you keep in constant contact. Whether it doesn't have to necessarily be a phone conversation. It can be just hey, I saw this person was sick. Go leave them, a goodie basket or something on their front porch, or whatever it is. It can be anything, because those things, you're gonna be remembered by how you make people feel. So that's a big advice.
But just because I know all Keri's business. Just to give an example too that I think is important is you almost missed one of your listings. That was an SOI. You happened to be at a stop sign in Trustville, happened to open up Facebook, which is dangerous, but you opened it up and you saw that she was asking for a realtor, and it was somebody you knew in your sphere of influence.
Yeah, I mean, and I didn't, yeah, it was just somebody I hadn't talked to in a really long time, and she happened to post on there, and it was just the right time at the right moment, and so, I mean, it worked out, I got lucky with it, but,
Yeah, you
Could've
got
went the other
lucky.
way.
You would have missed the opportunity had you not been engaging.
yeah.
All right, so let's think about this for a second, okay? So here's what I know about the real estate industry is that we should be focused primarily on low-hanging fruit, okay? One of those opportunities she's got is for sale by owner, okay? So that's a $435,000 sale, big sale, great opportunity. But by no means, so like Keri was at a critical juncture financially in her life. Like she either had to get a real estate business going or she had to go back to her prior career. She did not want to do that. Okay. So that fed into her why, right? Mm-hmm. But by no means is she mega agent status. We still have a lot of work to do with her. One of the things that I know she needs to work on is that number of touches. So if I go into her database right now and look at her internet generated leads, I'm going to see 1 to 2 touches. I'm not going to see what I feel like is the minimum of 6 to 8. And most real estate coaches will tell you it's 7 to 15 touches to really start to see internet leads start to convert. And we'll talk to Diana about that in a second. So what if she starts touching the leads that are generated through her sales funnel more, then in about 6 months, about a 6-month nurture period, okay? So in about 6 months, she's going to have a really healthy business where 50% roughly is coming from her sphere of influence and 50% is coming from leads that are being generated into her CRM. Marcia, do you have a question?
Am I allowed to ask questions?
Yes.
What is your definition of a touch?
So a touch is a great
That's
question.
great. That is a
And
good question.
I've got a list behind here of some different touch examples. So it's not all calls, but I can tell you, and I'm sure Diana will attest, that that's the most powerful thing, right? The most powerful thing is to be face-to-face like we are now. But it goes in, there is a order of priority in terms of that.
But that's, so that question I get asked a lot with the real estate team is usually I start to break through and I start to figure out like, you're just asking me how you don't have to call these people, aren't you? And that ain't gonna work. Like, you called them once or twice, you've talked to them, they know your name, you've talked, spoken, then yeah, maybe you can open up the emails, texts, because they'll tell you kind of what their language is, how they want to, but it's usually got to be a call first. You may get lucky. We had an agent close a $990,000 condo at the beach that argued with me pretty adamantly because he was just sending out emails, right? But he didn't end up with his goal of his goal was 7 million and he didn't come close. And I kind of told him at the end of it, like, you worry too much about them emails. He did get lucky on one, but this is a year game with leads, So.
Yeah, so it can be a lot of things. I can tell you that a super effective touch is like a social media DM or PM. Those are really, really good. The open rate on those is through the roof. It's over 80%. So that's a really good one. But you need to mix it up. But I would say on these touch points of the 7 to 15, I think the calls needs to be like 7 and the rest needs to be up to 15, right? You need to be calling, but some people do like to text. And
do all these touches have to be about real estate, or is it just staying in contact with them?
Well, it depends.
Well, the leads are probably going to be about real estate.
No, I think
we're talking about sphere of influence.
Oh, okay, yes, sphere of influence, yeah.
Yeah, so this is, so like the 7 to 15 touches is going to be, the reason you have to make so many of those touches is you're trying to establish a relationship. If you're talking to your sphere of influence, you need to talk to them at least once a quarter.
You're just trying not to get forgotten.
Yeah, you just need to constantly remind them that you're in real estate because
do pop buys.
Those people in that intersection that I don't know, they pulled it beside you. I don't know how.
No,
she was Facebooking
I was on,
and driving.
I was Facebooking
you were
and driving.
Facebook and driving.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good
so,
moment.
I was at a red light though. We were completely stopped.
They didn't forget you were a real estate agent, did they?
This person I haven't really talked to in a while. I don't ever really see this person. So it just happened to be like she was on there and had said, hey, I'm looking for a realtor, and I was like, immediately messaged her and I was like, hey, tell me what's going on, and it just kind of went from there.
Yeah, so the point is they do forget.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I mean, they do.
I'm glad it worked out for her, because
Yeah.
at the time, it was when Keri was just getting everything started, so I'm glad it worked out. But one thing I've noticed, and I'm not a sphere of influence realtor,
Not yet.
not yet, but a lot of them have,
Fear.
and I'm
Yeah.
saying this to y'all, because I'm not that, but the entitlement is through the roof. Like, they really do think that because they went to school together, it entitles them to business. And I'll tell you, as someone that calls strangers, they don't mention you. I mean, we came in there and listed property in Pelham from an agent that we know that listed and sold a year ago. Didn't even mention her. I happened to see it in the MLS. We know her. She works here. She
Yeah.
never called him again after it. And he listed within a year.
That may be the reason why she's not here. That's a friend of Liz's. That was her client.
She got lucky with that
I
one.
think she got pissed that we listed it, but she never called that person back. So we haven't seen her
She's
since
pissed.
then. I don't think that's a good one.
I don't think she's mad about it. It didn't
We'll
work
see.
out.
Well, we're on live TV now. So
Yeah, too late to take it back.
All right, Keri,
Okay.
is there anything else
Yeah.
you want to say before we go to the beautiful
Yeah.
and talented
No,
Diana?
I'm ready for her because I missed her and she was okay.
Okay. All right. So let me give, before we go into Diana's first question, let me give you guys some background on Diana. So she started with WCI Communities, which is a massive mass production builder. Are they located in Florida or
Yeah,
North Carolina?
based out of Florida.
Based out of Florida. And you were in a call center. So you actually would tee
Literally
up
my first
opportunities for the people that were in the communities, the
Yeah.
on-site salespeople.
Yeah.
And it was just cubes and all you, would you have a headset?
Yep.
A database?
Yep.
They fed you leads, you
Dialed
just
my face
called.
off. Yep.
So that was great training. What kind of,
It was a
what,
terrible life, but it was
Yes.
great training.
what did you, how did they prepare you for that?
We did like a 2 to 3 week training. I mean, they have like a trainer, but that was my job, was to dial. So I think like on average, we would make 40 to 50 phone calls a day, like have actual conversations. WCI is the leader in the country for active adult community. So old people want to talk and answer the phone. I think talking to older people too gave me just a glimpse of, like they want to talk and they want to talk about themselves and their grandkids and all of that stuff. And so then we would just, put them in the box based on where they wanted to be and what their activities were. So it just got me really comfortable being on the phone, knowing that somebody was potentially listening to me and then asking all the right questions, because we had to put them in, we had like 50 or 60 different communities that we could put them in. And my salary was very, very low. So when sales mattered, so we needed those commissions too. So, but it was extensive training, and I think it definitely set me up for success, for sales moving forward.
Yes, you did that. So you worked for, you worked in new construction, you worked in property management.
Yep.
You were the top buyer's agent on my team at
Yep.
one time, transaction coordination, broker, now you're in mortgage.
Yep.
I just feel like that is pretty huge in terms of the level of service you can provide the realtor.
She
And the
helped
consumer.
me personally on
Yeah, and
a
the
contract that I was writing. Actually, it was a counter offer, and I was like, "Hey, I need your advice on this," and she helped me do it. And I was like, "It was awesome." So
Well, I think one thing about Diana that, in terms of like her why, so I had the hardest time. I know, like, I'm not a nurturer. I'm not Mr. Sensitivity, right?
We know.
So I needed, like, I
We
knew
all
I
know.
needed Diana to come in, like, be the mama, on what we were trying to build. But she wasn't leaving that salary, and she wasn't leaving those benefits. So luckily, her boss pissed her off, and she was like, "I'm getting my real estate license," and I was like, "Yes, cha-ching." But she was like, "Okay, I'm leaving this guaranteed money, so I'm coming in." And she's like, "What do I need to do?" "All right, here's a bunch of people call them." And so that's what
I
she
did.
did. You already had the training from WCI, so I didn't have to train you on how to have these conversations. But here's what I feel like is your secret sauce, and you correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like it's the same sort of secret sauce that Adrian uses to be highly effective. Adrian Gill is an agent in our office, our Mobile office. Her first year on our real estate team, she closed 48 transactions, all internet leads. The secret sauce, and not everybody possesses this, and not everybody has to, But if you can be honest with yourself and go, oh, I have that, then this could be a very powerful income stream for you. But it's the genuine, authentic desire to serve. And like, I can just remember when somebody got pre-approved, you'd call and go, oh my gosh, you're pre-approved. And I ain't got that. I'm like, all right, that's just something we need to do. That's a box we need to check to move through the transaction. You actually got excited about that.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah, it's a huge
infectious.
thing. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I think there is zero competition for authenticity. I think if you can just truly embrace who you are, and if you genuinely love people and you share that, ain't nobody gonna outsell you, outserve you, out anything you. And that's my goal. Nobody's going out anything me, ever.
Use the gift you've been given.
Well,
to
and
the highest
she's,
ability that you have.
so that's the other thing, right? So we heard Courtney say in BNI this morning, she said she went to a conference over the weekend, and one of her takeaways was be passionate about people.
Yeah.
And so I think you have that, but you also were not born with a silver spoon in your mouth. And so you had to start making money early in life. And so I think that instilled this incredible work ethic, because one of the things I think is very powerful for these folks to hear is, like, we have agents that come in, we're like, all right, so if you're on our real estate brokerage team, we want you dialing for 2 hours a day. You know, we want you putting in at least 10 hours a week. So we have agents that come in, it's like they're punching a clock. They punch that 2 hours, then they're out. Okay, but you wouldn't do that. Like, if you had appointments, so you had things to do in the afternoon, you'd go do those. But if you didn't, so how long would you stay on the phone? Why is it important? Did it work out for you?
Yeah, it did work out for me. I stayed on the phone until I felt like I earned the opportunity to hang up the phone. But so where is this streaming?
Facebook.
Facebook
Look,
and
just
YouTube.
live. Just anybody can be
Facebook and
watching it
YouTube.
right now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So when I was 15, my parents got divorced. And so it was very rocky. And my dad wasn't on a good trajectory, and my mom moved away. So I lived with my dad, and he was not healthy, I guess is the right way to put that.
Wild.
He was wild. He lived a very wild Harley Davidson woman drug life. He's not that person anymore, so I'll make sure I say that just in case he sees this. So, but that was in high school, so 15. So when I was like 15 and a half, maybe 16, I was negotiating a lease at an apartment because I knew, like, it was stay here and go down that path or get out and build my own life. So like when I was like 15 and a half, 16 years old, I was living on my own, doing my own thing. And so like work is easy for me. This is the easiest piece of my life, is working and making money. Like, I've just been doing it for so long. I've always supported myself. I always, like, as an adult, well, so it's semi-adult. I mean, I've been with Jason longer, for more than half my life, but I ended up having to move into the dorms in college because I couldn't afford to live anywhere else, and it was just cheap. So I lived in the quads. And so one night he like texted or called, or I don't even know. We didn't even have cell phones then, I don't know how he got in touch with me, but he asked like,
he was
Talking to you.
I don't know.
Maybe
Maybe like
like
we had like dorm phones or something. I don't even know. He bought me my first cell phone. Yeah, we didn't even have pagers then. I don't know. So he called and he like asked if I wanted to come over, and so I was very prideful, and I just told him no.
I noticed you just got out of the shower.
Yeah, so I told him no, but I didn't want to tell him why. But it was because like my car battery was dead, and I just didn't grow up like being able to just like call dad and say, hey, can you come fix this? So I was on my own. I had no idea how much a car battery cost. I didn't know anything about it. So somehow I guess he called back. I don't know. Somebody in my dorm told him that my car wouldn't work. So he shows up and he like changes out the battery, and I'm like, ain't no
Nova, Casanova.
I know. I remember what he had on. It was super sweet, but I remember I was thankful, but then there was also this pit in my stomach that I will never, ever be in a position that I have to rely on somebody else to live again.
And your car exploded immediately.
No, my car was fine. He was so precious. And then I think he went and got me like some TCBY. That was his.
That was his.
I'm sure you remember. I don't know that I did. But
snuggle in the morning.
so anyways, but like I just remember thinking like, I'm a grown up, I'm an independent, I'm going to do what I have to do regardless of relationship. Like, it doesn't matter who's in my life. I will always be able to give myself the life that I want. And so that drives me every single day to build teams and like do things, you know, so like, you know, financially at our household, we're fine. Whether he makes money or not, I'm going to have the life I want. Period. Love that he's here with me, but like, it just isn't going to matter to me that anybody else. So like, just because you have a spouse that makes money doesn't mean you get to play small. You know, like that's just not how I roll. And I think you should embrace that. Everybody should embrace that. So I dialed until I felt like I deserved it. And so I knew what I wanted though. Like I knew I wanted a big house. I want to drive what I drive. I want to buy fancy shoes. Like I want whatever I want. If my kids want to go to Disney for spring break, we're going. I mean, Cammie wants to go see Pink in London and we're going to go, you know, like we're going to go. And I'm not going to tell her no because we can't afford it. So like, I just knew my life by design was going to be super outrageous. And I want to give that to my children. I don't want my kids at 16 thinking like, you know, we got to go get an apartment because our parents are insane, you know? So like, I want to give them a really good life and I want them to see a really good life and I want them to work really hard for it. So I get up and work hard every day. My stepmom, my parents raised my nephew and he was not dealt a good hand at all. And so my stepmom, we do Santa for my nephew. And so we got him a PC this year for Christmas. And Juju texted Cooper and she said, are you sure your mom's like okay with this? And so she sent me the screenshot back and he was like, she gets up every day and works so hard so she can give back to people. And so like, that is what I want my children to know of me. And they see it, like your kids see what you're doing. They see if you're being lazy. They see if you're taking care of yourself, if you're, you know, they just see all of that stuff. So that is like the biggest drive for me is giving myself the life that I want and then my family as well. And then my children seeing me work really, really hard.
Can I stop you there just for a second?
Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but
I just,
there you go.
You know, I think people can get lost in the dialogue and in the narrative, you know, because it is a powerful story, like when you're talking about your why and what drives you. But I can tell you, Blake would agree with me on this one. What the thing we see most between the agents that are successful and the agents that aren't successful is, are they connected to what drives them? If they have a big why and they're connected, they're truly connected to it. But a lot of times agents are like, I have no idea what drives me.
A lot of them
just have no idea why I got up this morning. And that is a really bad thing.
Would you agree that that can change though over time?
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It should change over
Yeah.
time. Because after a certain level, it's not gonna
It should continually evolve and
Yeah.
should continue to get bigger.
But I think your why too. I think a lot of people look at a why incorrectly. Like they're striving to go somewhere that they have no idea where they're going. I think to truly be connected to your why, you have to know without a shadow of a doubt, I'll never be here again. And that's my why. Like I know what it feels like and we won't be there again. And so that is what really, like, I'm just super connected to it. I know every day what I need to do, who I need to talk to, what my team needs. I know their goals. I know what we have to do every single month to make sure that all these women on my team are taken care of so that they can have the exact same thing for their family. And it's just like, it's no questions asked. It's what we do. It's how we do it. And don't get in our way because we're going to fire you.
Well, and Adrian has a powerful line that she uses often. And I know she said it to you multiple times that, like, when she feels their finances getting depleted, she knows she's got to get on the dang phone. Like she's like, I know, she knows how to solve that problem. There's a certainty level with having those conversations.
Yep.
All right.
And action beats anxiety.
So realistically, and you had somebody in your industry recently ask you, what the heck does that mean? Like, I don't even know what that means. Like, what's the action? What's the action you're talking about? You got a prospect.
Yeah.
Right. So you're number one. So where are those agent marketing playbooks? But I can tell you, like, consistently in these things, that they consistently identify a realtor's number one thing, and that's lead generation.
Yep.
That's prospecting, right? All right. So realistically, how many hours would you spend on the phone a day or a week?
I mean, realistically, like 5 hours a day at a minimum dialing. It was never 2 hour, but I broke up my days. So like I would dial till I had an appointment and then I would schedule like 1 to 4 as my appointment time. So I would dial, I'd get to the office like 8 and I would dial through until 1, every day. And then if I didn't have an afternoon appointment, I dialed my afternoon shift too. I might run out for lunch or I would run to Publix and grab a sushi pack or something like that. But like, if I'm not selling houses, I don't deserve to go out to lunch, in my opinion. Like, if I'm not doing my job, I don't deserve that. And the people who deserve the time are my kids. So like, if I didn't earn it, I worked and they were at daycare. And then if I did earn it, I would leave and take them to the park and stuff like that. So I just picked what I wanted. So, but it was a minimum of 5 hours a day.
How did you manage that when you got into momentum? Like, so you had like, when the showings came out of the woodwork, because we know like when that happens, right?
Yeah.
When we get into momentum, then we take our foot off the gas pedal. How did you keep your foot on the gas pedal? Or did you?
Yeah, because I loved closings. We all know that, right? Like, I love to make money. I love closings. I keep my foot on the pedal. So I think we ended up getting me a showing partner. And then I got so busy that I went to him and I'm like, I'm losing my marbles. And he's like, let me get you an ISA. I'm like, I don't need more appointments, man. I need somebody to help me with what I got. So then I sat down and I built the contract to close system that most of you are probably using, or, Jennifer uses or whatever. So I built that whole system out. So then I trained somebody on how to work this system, so that I could just go get more contracts and move on. And then, so once we got that piece in place, then I think we ended up getting a showing partner for me.
Okay, so time out. So teachable moment here is that, so when you get started in real estate, you're the CEO and you're the janitor and you do everything in between. Like, you're cleaning the bathroom, you're taking out the trash, you're making the copies, you're the runner. I mean, you're the sign installer, everything. Once you get to this place of momentum where you can afford leverage, you need to invest in the leverage so that you can focus on, watch this, your primary skill. Okay? So if Diana's primary skill was not being on the phone, she needs to find somebody who is. So maybe the ISA would have been a good fit for that role.
Correct.
But your primary skill was just the magic of getting on the phone with people and turning that conversation into an opportunity, just by nurturing those people, taking an interest in who they were, just loving on them, right? So that's your primary skill. I see a lot of issues in our industry with agents not doing an honest reflection, like self-reflection, going, what am I good at? What is my primary skill? And let me hire to the rest. So how many?
I do have a question about the calls, because my problem is I don't really have a sphere of influence in this area. That's something I'm having to build up because I'm from Dallas. So all these phone calls, and as a single agent, I don't get the leads in this app. Who do I call? Where do I make these calls? Like, what do I do to get these
Jason
calls
will teach you that after this.
Yeah, we're going to get into the lead generation.
Okay.
But here's what I'll tell you is we've only been, so like my sphere is the Alabama Gulf Coast. So I've quickly been able to put a sphere together here just by honestly, I met my best friend on buy, sell, trade. Okay. Was buying all of her stuff. I made some posts about refinances in my neighborhood pages. And then after I met Sarah, she invited me to her birthday dinner. So then I met her sphere, and then we met Morgan at an event, and then we mashed our parties together. And now I host wine club. Blake and Jason just started poker club. So like, if you have children, I coached volleyball at the rec center. So now I've met all these other little kids. I play volleyball at the rec center.
I'm gonna try to play with her on this.
Yeah. So like I do, I do uncomfortable things that I'd really just like to be at home in my hot tub drinking wine with my husband. But I do these things because I genuinely love to be out in the community, and I love to meet people, and I like to be known. I want to be known as a connector in my community, and I want to be a resource to my community. So those are fun, easy things to do that don't cost a lot of money and really just take time. And I do things that I enjoy doing.
Her husband has a big sphere of that. is from here. So she's been tapping into that.
Yeah,
She's like, I've added on.
All those,
Yeah.
you need to figure out who all those people are and put all those people in your database.
Yeah.
All right, I got just a couple more questions for you, and then we gotta get to
Okay.
work. We gotta move on here, but, so how many, I am not gonna get off this soapbox about the 2 deals a month. Okay, I really feel like if you're not closing on average 2 deals, 24 deals a year, 2 deals a month, 24 deals a year, you're underperforming.
well, I will say this, that if, I mean, like your sphere or like 2 hours a day should produce 24 deals a year at a minimum. So if it's not, then your sphere doesn't trust you as a professional.
Well, that was interesting. I just, that was another thing that we touched on in the BNI meeting. I believe that she was saying that John Maxwell said this, that defined a referral as a recommendation based on trust. So if you don't trust that person, you're not sending them people to work with.
Correct.
So how many deals though were you averaging a month?
I mean, I think like I maintained 7 to 11 pendings a month.
And that was after you had the showing assistant.
Yeah,
Right?
11 was kind of like our sweet spot on the showing partner, but I was very committed to a buyer consultation. I wasn't running out. I got like my time wasted twice and fired by somebody after I showed them houses on my birthday and during a tropical storm. Then he's like, oh, we're going to use my cousin. And I was like, okay. So then I changed my whole process and I did not show houses unless they came and met me at the office. We did a full buyer consultation, period. That was it. So without a buyer consult, I'm not showing you houses. And if you want to use somebody else, that's totally fine. But the truth is they didn't want to use somebody else. They wanted to use me because they felt connected to me because I'm good on the phone. So I made them come to the office and do buyer consults. And then I made them sign the buyer's agency agreement and the RECAD. And then a lot of times we go ahead and get earnest money.
Touch on that, because that's
Well,
my gears are turning about like how.
I did want to say this. I've given the buyer consult to Kathy. If anybody else wants it, just call or text me, email me, and I'll send it to you via our Google Drive. But nowadays, this is one of the, we need to focus on, for the sake of our sanity, we need to focus on what are some of the blessings of COVID. I feel like one of the biggest ones is that people like Zoom is just like second nature, right? So one of the arguments we get from agents is, well, people don't want to do a buyer's consultation, or they don't have time to do a buyer's consultation, or they're out of town buyers, or whatever the case may be. Now you have like zero excuse. You need to get on Zoom and conduct this buyer consultation. There's a way you can, I don't know how to do it, but Jacob could probably show us how to do it, how to get the presentation up on Zoom to do that. But it's also a really good idea to get face to face with these people at some point.
Belly to belly. Like I knew if I could get belly to belly with somebody, I would not. That was it. I got them.
And if you're on FaceTime or Zoom, you can make eye contact. And that, I tell you, that's not gonna stop this from like that scenario of, oh, I'm gonna use my cousin. Like that stuff's still gonna happen, because a lot of times with these internet leads, at least, you warm them up. And then when they get to where they're like 90 days out or less, then they might start talking to people like, oh, I'm moving to Birmingham. They're like, oh, my cousin.
Right.
And so if you have met face to face with these people, you have a better chance than going, oh, I appreciate it, but I'm already really connected with Diana. All right, last question. Do you still prospect as a mortgage loan officer?
Every day.
And who are you prospecting to?
Everybody. So I prospect to leads, like internet leads. I do get internet leads. I prospect to my sphere of influence. I mean, my sphere of influence, I probably create 50% of my business myself. So my goal coming into mortgage was not to rely on realtors who may or may not be lead generating, because again, I don't wait on people to give me the life that I want. So like I create my business. So like during the refi boom, I mean, we probably did, I don't know, $30 million worth of refis just from our sphere of influence. So I just don't, I mean, I just, whoever, I mean, I get leads from realtors, I call them, I get leads from realtor.com, OpCity, whatever's in my inbox goes into my CRM and I dial every day. I don't have as much time these days really to dial, so I'm not dialing 5 hours a day. But I really try to get 2 hours in a day. And sometimes, I mean, like I was finishing up my calls at 8:30 last night. That's when I earned my opportunity to hang up.
Love it. All right, Blake, it's your turn. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right, I'm trying to get this cowboy hat in the frame. It's
Yeah.
a challenge.
Important.
It is,
It's a big
yeah,
one.
it is
Yeah.
important. It is important. All right, Blake.
Yes.
So I think it's fair to say when you started with us, that you were just a tad bit nervous.
Yeah.
Maybe lacked some self-confidence,
Yeah.
Yeah.
had some healthy insecurities. So
Sure.
you can relate to
Not
what
sure what the
people are
question
going
is.
through.
I feel like this is a setup.
Yeah.
Well, I just think.
Awkward, I think, is a sales awkward. That wasn't
Well,
enough.
I'll give you an example. Okay, so I was talking to one of our agents in our Fairhope office the other day, and she has finally committed to coming out of her shell and creating content.
Yeah.
And she thought that I came out of the womb like ready to be on camera, right? And it was just some natural gift. Then she went back and watched my old videos, and she was like, "That was so awkward. Like that was a hot mess." So I just think it's really important to talk to people because, like, when you're up in this position now,
Mhm.
they're like, "Oh, he was born good at it.
Yeah.
It comes naturally to him." But you would stutter on the phone instead of specific. You said specific.
Yeah.
You would tell people. Yes.
There's just a lot of words I don't pronounce, and now I'm getting to the point where at 38 where I'm like, I don't give a damn. Like, I can learn it.
You'd say, "Oh, call me because I have no plans this weekend. Like, oh, I'm just completely free." You just got really nervous.
It's funny
You
because,
did do that.
yeah, as I just heard Diana saying how precise she was, I was like, oh shit, I'm next.
He's
And
he's a pro on the phone now.
Yeah, I was
Like,
not
he
precise.
walks
I was
down the
like,
hallway and then-
Hey, you got a pulse? I trust you. Let's go. And they would make fun of me on the team because but it's the only way I survived. Like I didn't have the sphere of influence on it. I tried saying it right, but
You got it right.
got it.
You had to your mouth was not.
yeah, I
comfortable
didn't want to
saying
come out right. I
spear.
wanted to say spear and just move on, but I didn't have that. So I was like, I thought all these people were from the area and I was just the outsider from Iowa. So I just took every opportunity I could. If they said, yeah, I was like, yeah, let's go. I am down. Whatever. Mississippi, I guess I could sell there. I don't know. We'll figure it out halfway there. It didn't matter. That's my point.
24 hours.
Pretty sure we're good.
Yeah, but I did that because I didn't know how else to survive. I'd spent 5 months being an independent agent. And I was like just hanging out in the back of meetings at their meetings, like just like looking at them going like, what am I supposed to be? I'd get there at 8 o'clock in the office and my teammate at the time, my team leader at the time, or whoever was helping me would show up about 3:30ish. And that's when my day would start. And I'm like, okay. And finally, until I started asking for help, and then it all kind of worked itself out, but I didn't want to miss that opportunity. So I was not precise.
Right.
And I stuttered and I did all the stuff you said, but
Yeah, you kept fighting through it.
Yeah.
Right. And I think it was really important
Yeah.
that you surrounded
Embarrassing.
yourself
it was
with
embarrassing.
people who were calling.
Yeah.
And you could see their successes. Like real estate agents, this is what I found to be like gospel, is that we need to see it working for somebody else before we start to do it. So I think like first takeaway for you is surround yourself with people that are making calls.
Mhm.
We have this morning script call 4 mornings a week.
Yep.
We're finally starting to get more people from outside of the team, outside
Independence,
the
yep.
brokerage. We're inviting everybody who has a real estate license in the United States to join us. We're finally starting to see some other people join, and that's only going to help us. It's like iron sharpens iron, right?
Right.
So that's really, really, really important. The other point I want to go to next is establish this. It is an irrefutable principle in real estate that the value of your real estate business is determined by your database. The strength of your database, so the value of your real estate business is determined by the value of your database. That value, that strength, you can strengthen, you can elevate the value of your database by nurturing it. Okay? So you need to be putting everybody you know goes into the database. This is one of the things we see when I interview agents. I go, hey, you got a database? Nope. Some of them may have an Excel spreadsheet. Some people it's a notebook. Some people don't have anything at all. Okay, so the point of the database is that it helps you create a system. Okay, so look at this up here. Look at this statement up here, look at this, look at the bottom part, okay? So we need to master systems, technology, and people. We need to be passionate about people. We need to have conversations with people. I was just talking to an agent in our Gulf Shores office who's blowing up on TikTok. Her content is amazing. But I was like, girl, if you don't start focusing on conversations, you are never going to make money in this business. Okay? You've got to start engaging with people. You've got to start having conversations with people. Blake, what would you say is, I know one thing that we've had, like if somebody is not finding success on a real estate team, we can typically go back to their database and look at their database and find holes in the boat.
100%.
And that is in touches, or they don't have people in the right categories.
It's one click and I can tell where they'll project, and it's last call.
What are some other things you think separate people that make it and those that don't? Like people we've had to say goodbye to over the last few years. Like what were some commonalities of people that just did not make it?
Well, so like I've heard Dinah's why now a while now, a bunch of different times, and I think, but I've heard it since I started though. But I'm saying it based off the fact that I think that's what everybody thinks a why should be, right? Like something bad had to happen to lead to it. So like most of them, instead of like how you said they don't have it, they think it's got to be something of a noble quest. And I don't think it does. Mine's built solely off of spite to the town of Tama, Iowa, for voting me most likely to stay in the area. Like it's nothing more. It's petty. It's petty.
not, though.
Yeah.
It affected you.
Yeah, it affected me in a big
Yeah,
way.
it's
Like,
important to you, and that's all
Yeah.
that matters.
so mine became like, and then now I can laugh at it and grow my rhino skin that whatever you say can bounce off of me. And that just transitions into a phone call from somebody that goes like, hey, go to hell. And I'm like, okay, but whatever you
This is
think.
from Tama.
Yeah. You from Tama? But I think that's the connection point, right? Like the failure point all falls on why, because it's hard to do dials. Like when I hear some agents in the office go like, hey man, we're thinking about getting the lead game. I'm like, I can do fine.
How do you have to psych yourself up to get on the phone, or like how do you
Not psych
how
myself
solve
up to
the
get on the
problem?
phone. I have to like ground myself from my attention deficit to get on the phone. It's not, I've been doing it a while enough to know that the worst thing they're going to do is hang up on me. Like I remember when I used to think they'd kill me. Like I remember that where I was like, this son of a bitch is going to hunt me down. He's going to know that's Blake Ray in Gulf Shores, Alabama, and I'm going to get him. I remember when I thought that. Like
you go grocery shop like super late.
yeah.
Like
I'd wear a fake
You
mustache.
know those people, like they're so angry, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
but it's
I
so
was just
stupid.
calling you, like,
It's
God.
so
I didn't
stupid.
say I was gonna chop your arm off.
The
Calm down,
worst,
Karen.
the worst thing you're gonna do, that's like a 1 in a million caller that's gonna take the time to say no and belittle you. Like,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Like, the worst you're gonna hear is no. So that I remember what that was like to be like, oh, this is gonna be bad.
Well, so that's why like your desire to live a certain lifestyle has to be greater than your fear of rejection or being cursed out or hung up on.
And I think get yourself in some debt's a good motivator.
Yeah.
Get some
Okay.
credit.
Hey.
Okay, let's not.
Well,
do that.
I've always told the team, like, hey, you want some accountability? Get a credit card, person calling you. Tell them that you're late on that. Like, when you start getting them calls all the time, it'll get you sick and tired of being sick and tired. Like when those 888 numbers hit, if I'm being real, like when that Mediacom bills later, that Capital One's going, hey, where's our money? Like you'll talk to some people different. You'll push that conversation a little bit longer. I'm not saying to do it because I don't want that life for y'all, but I can think back when I didn't have for better terms, a pot to piss in, and that was some pretty good prospecting back then. Like I didn't take no for an answer.
Yep.
Like I did not. I was like, no, listen to me, lady. I hear you. I'm like,
I'm gonna sell your house.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
yeah.
You're selling this
you'll
house.
push that conversation, and I think it's when you get past that point of, you obviously don't want the debt, but
Well, it's like I say this all the time to agents in like interviews or whatever, trainings or coaching sessions about how like team members are trained that if they get hung up on, you just got disconnected. Like call back.
Oh, I did.
back.
I called
Yeah.
him right back.
I'm so sorry.
Double
I just got
down.
disconnected.
Yeah.
That's like what it takes. We've got agents that do war dialing.
Mm.
That if you don't pick up on the first ring or the first time they call, they're calling back 2 more times. Because typically that tells people like, this must be important, they really need to touch me, so they'll answer.
I promise you, if you war dial me on the third one, I'm gonna answer with a curse word.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Yeah.
I'm like,
But that's the worst that you're gonna do though. You're not gonna
Yeah.
kill anybody. You're just gonna go, what the?
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Well, motivated people want to work with motivated agents, but one thing that I hear consistently from people that are interested in prospecting is they're going to bother people.
That's a good term though. Interested in prospecting.
Right.
Like, I think it's a lifestyle.
I think it's a genuine fear though, like,
It
I
absolutely
mean,
is.
I think it's totally warranted because it's, I know personally, like, I get sick of people calling me from a freaking 205 number about my car warranty. I don't have an extended car warranty and I don't want to talk to you, but yeah, I mean, like, it is annoying, but.
I know that
it
I
is-
buy from people that follow up with me relentlessly, whether I
Yeah.
did it or not.
That's true. And what I mean, in my early days of dialing, I put up a mirror. I made sure my bunker was like comfortable
What's the mirror?
and I loved
What's the
it.
mirror about?
You have to like, just like if you're smiling when you're talking, people can hear it. So like I would tell myself every day, smile, dial, and make a pile. And so I'd have a cute little mirror in front of me. I made sure I had like my cup and my picture of my kids and a little music. Like I need my space to be me.
You want to make it home. You want it to
Yeah.
feel like home.
So I made sure
You're
like
comfortable in your home.
my bunker was good, but like I went on a mission trip this past weekend and we were just talking about like flow state and stuff. And my flow starts at like 3:00 in the afternoon and I piss myself off every day. So yesterday morning I sat down and so I sit down and I work for 3 minutes and I go start a load of laundry and then I'm like, sit down. And so I sit back down for 3 minutes and I'm like, let me go boil some eggs. Then I sit back down and Rosie needs to get turned on. And then I sit back down for another, it's just up and down, up and down, up and down. And then at 2:30, like my flow state starts and I blow it out until like 8:30. So, but I'm trying to like back my flow state up so I can do it, before the kids come home. But I would tell myself, smile, dial, and make a pile. And then I reminded myself every day that they gave me their phone number. So if it's a wrong number, who even cares? But if it's a right number, they gave it to me.
Mm-hmm.
They want you to use it.
Yeah.
Call
That's
them.
a good
Because if you
point.
don't call them, a really bad realtor is going to call them. And we
all know one of those.
yeah. And then the industry just gets a bad rap. So like learn, dial, execute.
All right, any questions for our panel?
Chris looks so happy back
You fired up, Kathy?
Fired up.
Let's
I'm
go.
ready to make those
But
phone
yeah.
calls.
To
As soon as I know
you,
who to call.
you had made the comment that you don't have the SOI and you don't have that. But one thing I always tell the team whenever I'm interviewing them is, if you really wanted to make 6 figures, because is that your goal? Like you want to make an unbelievable amount of wealth.
That's the reason why I go to random businesses and talk to random people on purpose.
But the question that I ask them is, why didn't you start at that house and just door knock until you hit Irondale? Eventually you'd find a seller.
Yeah.
Because we put caveats on it though, and they do it for prospecting too. So even if I gave you 1,000 leads, you may create a caveat that either A, they don't want to talk to you, B, they'll get mad, C, they're not answering because they don't want to buy.
Yeah.
And I get that a lot.
Once they get me on the phone, though, it's fine.
All right, well, thank you so much for your panel time.
All this sweet-
We will start diving into lead generation right now for those that can stick around.
I need more pizza.
That's not me.
What?
Yeah, Kathy.
Yeah.
Keri, you look cute up there.
I put some shoes on today and they were heels and I was like, nope, that's not
I'm
happening.
gonna start being the realtor at Scrubs again. That's what I'm gonna do. I get to go wear my scrubs. I'm just gonna wear my scrubs that I used to wear. Don't wear heels. That's what I'm gonna wear. Can I do it? Can I be like place the realtor and the cowboy, whatever it is? Yeah, I'll wear a seat.
Alright.
What?
We keep
I think
going.
by the time I work
We keep going to lead generation.
Now
Now have here, up here, Keri, we got, y'all getting Keri all stirred up.
Sorry.
What? Ain't nobody getting Keri stirred up. Keri wakes up stirred up. Yeah, that's right.
All right, we're gonna go, we're still going with the class though, we're still going with the class. We're gonna talk about lead generation. So I wanna give you guys some context here of what you're looking at here on this board. So this amazing artwork is your sales funnel. All right, so this is a representation of the back end of your website, which is also known as your CRM. Okay, as your CRM. that there is a common description. Like people always say, what's the best CRM? And it's the one that you use, okay? If you don't have a CRM, you need to get one, okay? Now, for those agents that are here, we provide this for you at no cost. So you have zero excuses in that regard. You have everything that you need at your disposal. And then up here we have lead sources, right? Lead sources. Some old school, really one old school. We can have some other ones that we can put up there as examples. But these are some of the things that I'm like really want to push so that agents start implementing this into their business. All right. So most agents I talk to, if I'm lucky, they have a YouTube channel, but typically they're not feeding it. Okay, so if 9 times out of 10, they really don't have it, but if they do have it, they ain't doing nothing with it. I would say the same is true of blogging. I had one agent talk to me the other day, and they were complaining about OpCity. They weren't getting as many OpCity opportunities as they once were, and they were wondering what was going on, and there was maybe a glitch in the technology. And I was like, dude, you're too reliant on OpCity. Why don't you start your KB Core technology has an automated Craigslist poster. Why are you not posting on Craigslist? This would generate, if he was doing it consistently, somewhere in the 15 to 30 leads a month. 15 to 30 free leads a month from Craigslist. And then just ask Blake if Craigslist leads are viable or not. Okay? And I can tell you that they are. Blogging and YouTube are how we can be found in the search engines. All right? So there is a great deal of emphasis being placed on video on all social media platforms right now. And make no mistake that YouTube is a social media platform. It is owned by Google, and it's the #2 search engine out there right now. So we should be feeding YouTube with consistent, authentic, and valuable content. The top YouTube influencers say that you should be posting a new video every week. All right, when you're getting started. After you become a veteran at it, you should be posting a video to YouTube every day, every single day. Some of you would start to see results in your business if you posted a video once a month, right? So it's whatever. We need to start out, I think, in consistency. We need to have like baby steps, right? So if you can't commit to calling 2 hours a day, can you commit to calling 1 hour a day? If you can't commit to having 10 conversations a day, can you commit to having 5 conversations a day? Whatever it is, if you have to start small, that's fine. The key is being consistent. But another thing that we could add here, I can keep it congruent with the colors, is so your SOI / phone contacts. Everybody you know or meet should go into your database. One of Diana's best lines, I think y'all would all agree, she needs to be up here teaching classes way more. She used to teach a ton of classes. She's a very gifted teacher. One of the lines that she used in a training a few years ago that I absolutely love, what she was talking about, how, I think we were talking about networking events and how we should all be, participating more in networking events. And she said, if you go to a networking event and you don't leave there with business cards or contact lists, something to put into your database, then you weren't networking, you were socializing. So everybody you know, everybody you meet needs to go into this database, into your CRM. And the CRM has systems that you can set up so that you're systematically touching people on a regular basis, which is going to lead to conversion and referrals, right? A lot of the time, we're overcomplicating this, okay? We're overcomplicating this. We are doing things already in our business. We just don't know how to distribute it so that it's actually generating leads. So for instance, Many of you have listing opportunities. Every listing should be a catalyst for a blog article. And there's a lot of different, you could essentially, in some cases, like if you've got a listing in Ross Bridge, there's a lot of blogs that can be written about that. Okay, you could have one blog about your listing. You could have another blog about the amenities of Ross Bridge. You could have another blog about a small business in Ross Bridge, in the town of Ross Bridge. But there's a lot of those types of communities out there. A lot. Okay. What's the one out in the Chelsea way?
Chelsea Park,
No, well, that's a massive one too, right?
yeah, we've got Greystone, we've got the Highlands.
It's the town of,
Not Laurel.
yes.
No.
So that's like, holy cow, if that's anywhere near you, I'll be all over that place. There's so much opportunity there to write blogs. So let's think about this. We may not understand this, okay? So in Ross Bridge, there's Dream Cakes. All right, Keri loves Dream Cakes. It's one of her favorite dessert places.
What's it called?
Dream Cakes. She loves sweets, okay? So that might be something fun that she could write about that she's personally connected to. But when people Google like best dessert shops in the greater Birmingham area, she's putting herself in a position to be found. Same way if she creates video content, okay? Now, many people don't think about this, but it is like super easy to do, okay? I don't have it. I'll get it for you, but there's, I don't know if somebody can Google it or not, but what I like to do just to make it easy on myself is to use the voice recorder on my phone. And then there is an online service I use to transcribe. I just upload that audio. I just can't remember what it is. It's something.ai. Meant to something like this. I'm butchering it, but it's like super affordable. I want to say it may be $100 a year for like unlimited uploads, and it immediately transcribes everything. So I'll just interview somebody, a small business owner, my seller, then I'll transcribe that. But any audio, okay? Any audio. We can strip audio from our videos, upload it to a service like this that transcribes it into text. And it's basically writing the stuff for us. It's writing the content for us. Okay, a lot of times I'll upload my videos to a transcription service so that it'll help me with my description of my YouTube video, because that's how you're really going to get found on YouTube.
It's Otter.ai.
Ooh, that's good. How do you spell it, Marshall?
OTTER.
Do you happen to see how much it costs? Does it have a pricing thing on it?
Mm-hmm. Basic is free. Pro is $833 a month.
Okay, so yeah.
Business is $20 a month. But that's for teams.
Yeah. So that's super, super duper affordable, right? So start interviewing people. So for instance, I've got one of the farming techniques that I like to teach on is influencer marketing. How do you become an influencer in the market, your target market, your farm? Is you shine a light on influential people. That's how you become an influencer. Oh boy.
Bless you.
It's coming. Oh, excuse me. So send 5. What you can do right now is send 5 Facebook messages to people of influence in your community. Politicians, preachers, teachers, principals, first responders, war heroes, philanthropists. I mean, you name it, there's a ton of influential people in Leeds movement. I mean, you name it, they're there. Send 5 Facebook messages. You know, like you can go to their business on Facebook and send them a direct message from there and just love on them and go, oh my gosh, I love your coffee shop. I mean, I never have bad service. The coffee's always hot. It always tastes good. People there are welcoming and friendly. I want to interview you about how you create this amazing culture in your coffee shop. All right, so go sit down with them at their coffee shop, order a cup of coffee, get a selfie, set your cell phone up to record, ask them permission, go, hey, I'm going to be blogging about this. I really love your business. I want to help promote it. So I'm writing a blog. You come for me, record this conversation. If they're not, turn it off, start taking notes, go old school. But it's really easy. You're not going to miss anything. One thing I love about recording conversations and then using a service like this is I don't have to miss anything. Like if I'm taking notes like Sarah's doing, I may miss something. Yeah, because while you're taking notes, they continue to talk, and you're not getting all that. But if you got the recorder going, you're getting it, okay? I'm telling you, when you do this, when you make this post, okay, it's a selfie of you having coffee with Mr. Jones, and Mr. Jones is like this person that everybody loves in your community, and you're like, hey, I just had the most impactful coffee appointment with Mr. Jones. He's got the most amazing coffee shop in all of Leeds. I love this guy. I learned so much from him. I want to share his story with you. Here's some of the highlights from our conversation. And then, see the link in the comments to my blog article with the full conversation in it. So then you're driving traffic to your website. You see how this is working? Then Mr. Jones is probably going to share that Facebook post onto his page, and he's just going to love it. And then you're evoking the law of reciprocity. It's giver's gain, right? So Mr. Jones is going to be like, that was the sweetest thing that Keri did. Like, I just thought, she wanted to learn about my business. I didn't realize she was going to go to all this trouble to help me promote it. And now I've got customers coming in saying they read the blog and they really loved it.
It makes a big difference. The first one I did, I still talk to them, and they're always asking me to come over. There's like, hey, missing you. And they'll send me messages like I send them. And it was just from doing that. And now I have a lifelong relationship with somebody and meeting more people through it. So, it did wonders. I've got to do more, but
yeah,
even just that one did a lot.
Well, that's like I need to do more. The consistency factor is huge with this, right? Now, we're talking about low-hanging fruit. Like this is more of a long game opportunity here, pretty much. But I can tell you that this Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace can lead to immediate opportunities. Immediate opportunities. Okay? So what I want you to do is find some of these up here. So maybe you want to pick 2 or 3 of these. And so these would be 2 to 3 things that you'd want to start coaching with me right away on. Okay, so if you're like, oh my gosh, I've got a YouTube channel, I never feed it, I need to feed it, then let's start coaching on this right away. So, gosh, it's hard to pick a bunch of these, but if I feel like I can do 2 deals a month just from open houses. Just from open houses.
Can I ask a question
Yes.
about these sources like Craigslist, Facebook, and so forth? If you don't have listings currently, then how do you advertise on those places? Because usually you've got a product that you're putting out there for people to purchase. In this case, is a home. But so if you're just searching for leads, searching for people who are looking to either buy or sell, actually, how do you use that on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist? I can understand doing it on your YouTube or doing it on your Facebook Realtor page.
Yeah.
But Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace, can you do that?
Okay, so let's talk about this. Okay, I think this is super key to like your tactical strategy around content creation. Okay, so let's say, Marshall, that you identify a subdivision in Leeds, like or Moody. So I would ask you to identify communities. Is there a high rate of turnover? Like, is there typically a good bit of listings?
I just looked it up, and I don't know how many homes were in this subdivision. It's not huge, but 17 homes sold last year.
Okay, that's a lot. So let's say this. All right, so you set a goal. So you have a project that you're gonna do. You're gonna create a community video for YouTube. Okay. So the purpose of this video is to showcase this community. You're going to point out all the great things in the community. And oh boy, it would be a huge win if you got a couple of your neighbors who love the subdivision to go, this is why we love it on camera, right? So in the process of maybe doing some research on what homes are selling for, average sales price, maybe there's some things about your own subdivision you didn't really even know. But in the process of this, you're really getting in touch with this subdivision, what the amenities are. Maybe some people that you ask them, maybe they're not comfortable being on camera, but they'll give you a quote. You say, all right, well, I understand you're not comfortable being on camera, but can you just tell me, like, what are your top 2 things you love about life here? And maybe there's some insight there that you hadn't even thought of. All right, so that in turn is going to give you a lot of information to use on your blog. And oh, by the way, you can create a Craigslist ad just for a subdivision. Explore life in this subdivision. And you're in the body of the Craigslist ad is details like here's the top 3 amenities of the subdivision. Here's the you can find custom homes in here. Most of them have, or all of them, the majority of them have hardwood floors and granite countertops, and they're just really well done. Or they're built by this builder that's got a great reputation. Maybe I'm going to provide a few details on this builder, which is also going to be, if you use a builder name that's popular in the greater Birmingham area, that's a long form keyword phrase that might also help you be found when people search that builder. So you can create community specific Craigslist posts about that subdivision. You can create posts on condos, foreclosures, golf course properties. You can do 4 bedrooms. Here are all the 4-bedroom homes in Leeds priced between 300 and 500. And then talk in the body of the ad, you might talk about life in Leeds or life in Moody. So great question. But in the process of doing this, what I really want to focus on is that real estate agents have just like one track mind. Okay. So if I say, hey, I'm going to give you a homework assignment. I want you to create this community video tour of your subdivision. That's really all you're thinking about. You're probably not thinking about how you can take this YouTube video and cut it up into stories and make it a post on TikTok or make it an Instagram reel. And you're certainly not thinking about how you can parlay this into blogs and Craigslist ads and Facebook Marketplace ads. The other thing is use other people's listings. Okay.
I was about to say, if I don't have any listings, can I go still a listing and advertise it?
Yeah. So
what are the rules about that?
Well, this is in our company, it's an unwritten rule. It's it's not a formal rule, but I really feel like we should all be heavily invested in helping each other promote our listings. So if Kathy's smart, she's like, hey, you want to come do a video at my listing? Come over, let's make a video. Or go shoot a video. Post it on Craigslist. Post it on Facebook Marketplace.
But are there certain rules that as far as the commission is concerned, as far as what we can post if it's not technically our listing?
Yeah, so if you cannot post anything, what I would just tell you to do is just get Kathy's permission. Carrie's got like 7 listings coming up. She ain't gonna be able to market all those things.
No, I mean, like, I'll market them, but I mean, like, just copy what I post, and like, you can erase like my personal hashtags. Like mine's like hashtag realtor red. That's my favorite color, so that's my thing. But then like somewhere in there, either whether it be the beginning or the end of that post, put listing credit goes to, and then tag my name in there. That's what I did. Like I did Kathy's, and I didn't even ask you for your permission. Sorry.
Yeah, but I was cool with it.
I was gonna say, I'm sure I don't know anybody that's not gonna be like, yes, please don't promote my listing. But I just copied what she put, and then I erased some of the things because it was specifically for her. And I put listing credit goes to,
You really don't have to do that when it's inside the brokerage, because the broker owns the listing. So as long as you put JPAR Coast and County, that covers the compliance.
I guess I do it out of respect too, because I'm like, I don't want to promote. I don't want it to seem like I'm promoting a listing that's not mine. She deserves that credit, so I feel like she needs to get that. So that's what I do. But I mean,
with FSBOs.
If it's outside of the brokerage, though, do you have to say who the listing agent is? Or
really, technically, when you get down to it, you have to have permission of the actual broker. And I know very few brokers, like the agent will be like, oh yeah, go ahead, just mention me at the bottom, just like Kerry's talking about. Okay. But not every time the broker's going to be cool with it. I don't think it's something that brokers go around policing all that much. But if you want to get super technical about it, you have to go that route. But I don't think you should or even need to, because there's going to be enough business within the brokerage to use, and you've got tons of FSBOs out there that you can partner with. And there is a disclaimer that you need to use with the FSBOs.
But what I'm thinking about the usage of this is in my farm. I don't know if anybody else is in Leeds Moody that's here in this brokerage, but if there's no JPAR listing in Leeds Moody, but there is a Keller Williams, can I go do something?
Well, so you absolutely can, right? And so that would be part of like what I want to happen for you is that very seldom does a property come on the market and leaves Moody that you don't physically go see. And so you can get content of yourself previewing these listings, and you can promote the subdivision as a whole and go, hey, here's a link to all the active homes in the subdivision. Here's why, you're writing this blog saying, this is why it's great to live here. And then somewhere in the blog, you got a call to action that says, here's a helpful link to follow to see all the homes that are actively on the market in this subdivision. And so you're going to drive people into this sales funnel, right? And I would just find the FSBOs, because that way you got an open house opportunity, you got all this marketing opportunity, and you're putting yourself in a position, you're essentially interviewing for a listing, right? So it's leveraging people, it's leveraging small businesses, it's leveraging listings, it's leveraging your process. Like here's like if you write content on the buying and selling process, if you write, because it's part of it, right, is educate to attract. What are some things you've experienced in this incredible year where you closed 36 transactions that consumers didn't know? And you were shocked they didn't know that. Or there were scenarios that came up that required some problem solving skills, and you had to put your problem solver hat on, and you can advise people, hey, this is how you can circumvent this obstacle. So any question you get asked more than once, that's a blog. Anything that is, proprietary in process for you, like this is my marketing process. This is how I work with home buyers. This is how I help home buyers win multiple offers. All that stuff is great video content, great social media content, great blog content. Yes.
Question, because I've been putting a list together of homes that I want to preview in like Mountain Brook, because I want to be Mountain Brook, Chelsea. We kind of talked about that.
Yep.
And I go in and I see some of the ones that have been on the market for a little while, mostly because it's in a higher price range, and we know there's just not as many people that view those homes. So if I go in and do like an agent preview, I'm allowed to take video and pictures and things like that, but I can't be specific on the address.
Yeah.
Say beautiful home in Mountain Brook.
Yeah.
Reach out for details.
Yep. And I mean, you're going to want to get permission from the agent, and you're going to want to give the agent recognition in the actual post.
Okay.
You cannot market it as your listing.
Right.
So you need to make that very, very clear. One of the big things that the commission and really local boards are focused on, and those of you who aren't that far removed from your real estate exam will probably remember this, is that this word misleading. Like they really policing us because they want to protect, their primary job is to protect the public from getting misled.
So what if we do like we're doing a house, a home tour in Mountain Brook in a specific subdivision. Let's say there's 3 houses we can hit. Could we start off with saying, we're at this listing and actually say, by Keller, so-and-so with Keller Williams.
Yeah, with Paige Johnson and Keller Williams, yeah.
And I'm getting opportunity to view this home, come check, come with me, let's view it together, and then have just the homes that are within that subdivision, but every time, and making sure that you physically say it, you write it on the post, and we need to have the phone call.
All right, so that just made me think of something. There is an agent that I know that I'm specifically thinking about. I'm sure if I spend a little bit more time on it, I can think about more. But there is an agent that I know that this has become, like, if not a primary niche, it's like a sub niche, where he's not afraid to make videos. He loves to make videos, and he's just gotten this reputation of the video guy. So there's a ton of agents out there that do not want to shoot video. They certainly don't want to get in front of the camera. They don't know how to do it. They have no desire to do it. So they call him to come shoot videos of their listings. And it's a big moneymaker for him. He's getting intimate knowledge of these listings, but he's getting all this content. And then they're providing a service to their seller, because I'm telling you, 85% of our consumers want to work with a real estate agent that incorporates video into their marketing plan. And that goes for buyers and sellers.
That gets you, they feel like they know you.
Yes, it has a lot of benefits, but I'm telling you, no matter what if that statistic goes to 95% instead of 85%, there's still agents that aren't going to do it. They're just not going to do it. So that creates an opportunity for you. I think the other thing is when you're going to find with some of these luxury agents is they don't want you coming in without a buyer. So the preview opportunity can be very, very hard. If it is one that is sat on the market for a while, maybe you've got a better shot at that. But what do we know about like luxury sellers? Like not only do they're not really all huge fans of previews. They don't want buyers coming in, or they want to see a pre-approval or proof of funds before the showing even happens, right? So, but there's ways to get around that. Open houses. You can go like, all right, when's the next open house? I just come to that. But one of the things that's going to help you is that if you create like high quality, I'm not talking about professional, I'm just talking about high quality, like the video that you and I did at Deer Ridge Lakes. I felt like that was a high quality video. It took us like 20 minutes to make it. 20 minutes to make it.
I've got a lot of comments on it.
So if let's say for the sake of argument that you shoot this video, you bring exposure to this agent's listing, you actually end up bringing a buyer to the listing, then every time she lists a property from here until she's retired, she's going to call you and go, hey, I got a new listing. You want to come make a video? So there's ways that you can kind of build up this credibility in the marketplace as somebody who is an expert marketer who's willing to do the things that other agents are not to market the properties. And it's going to, I feel like, make them look better with their seller. Hey, I invite other agents in to do a lot of marketing. And the more word we get out, the more word of mouth that happens, the more, collateral conversations that are that my video is the catalyst for, just the better opportunity we have to sell this, the terms you want and the price you want. So that's something you can market. The other thing is providing these agents with really good feedback. So I know like agents that get calls consistently when other agents list homes in their marketplace because it's like a caravan or a broker open kind of opportunity. These agents provide such good feedback, like it helps them get price reductions, or it helps their stubborn seller paint the princess bedroom or replace that carpet that's got the big wine stain on it. And they're just like so grateful. Okay, so think about this. These preview opportunities can lead to a lot of different things. It also, like I've been posting some things in the coaching community about Instagram posts or Facebook posts that you can use to strategically generate engagement. So you might see, like one of them was, the example was the rafters, like in a room, like, or it could be a light fixture, or it could be a beautiful copper farmhouse sink. It could be something beautiful, interesting, or maybe a little out of the ordinary that are going to just create a windfall of engagement, which just creates this organic, gives your organic reach this incredible boost.
It's funny you say that because I posted I saw a picture of this bathtub that looked like a hammock, and I saw that. I just started to post. I was like, this looks so weird, and so I just posted on it just to see what people think, and I literally had so many people just comment, and it's kind of crazy because you don't realize so many people are looking, but they want that opportunity to engage.
So this is one of those things I want you to burn into your brain right now. Okay, you promise? You're going to burn it in there?
Do my best.
So if I hire you, so Diana stressed the importance of buyer consultations. Okay. So if I hire you to be my agent, we sit down, we go through the buyer's consultation. At the end of the buyer's consultation, I think there should be a mutual, this is something that, a mutual expectation that we both share. That you should have a handful of properties in mind that fit that buyer's needs. And she should feel comfortable asking you, okay, after the end of the buyer's consultation, do any properties come to mind that are listed right now that will fit? Of course, that's a challenge in this market, right? When they're on the market for 5 days or less. But my point is, part of your job description is to know the market. The number one thing our consumers expect from us is market knowledge. You can't have market knowledge if you're not getting out there and seeing the inventory. You need to get out there and see the inventory. I bet you there's more than one person in this room right now who was working with a buyer that wasn't from Birmingham. The buyer gets here and they're thinking, oh, I'm going to be in Ross Bridge. And then they got to Ross Bridge and like, where the hell am I? This is way out in the middle of nowhere. I want to be closer to town. And you're like, well, we've been focused on Ross Bridge this whole time. But then then there was like, all right, well, we probably should have had a buyer consultation.
We drove all of
I know
Yeah.
we did. I moved from Dallas. He was my real estate agent and we did exactly that.
Yeah.
We-
So a buyer's consultation probably would have helped, right? But how many times have you worked with people that they think they know, like, this is where I want to be, and then they get there and they're like, this is not what I want to be.
Yeah.
But and as the showings are happening, you were probably talking, and Marshall was listening. He's like, oh my gosh, she needs to be in Chelsea. What are we doing here? But if he knew he should be listening to you. He goes, I just showed a house in Chelsea last week that'll be perfect for you. That's kind of some of the secret sauce of being a professional agent, is that you know the inventory. And that's why having a farm, carving out a small geographical area and just focusing on that hardcore is super, super important. One of the things that Diana didn't say that I really should have gotten her to touch on is how often she studied the MLS and the data. She spent so much time on the phone that she didn't, and she showed, because she spent so much time on the phone, she showed a crap ton of houses. So she was in and out of houses all the time. And so to make up for the previews, she just scoured the MLS at least 2 times a day, sometimes more. Keri, do you have a question?
Yeah, do you have time to kind of delve deeper into a buyer's consultation? Because I personally, and with Diana, I like doing those. Sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't, in terms of people agreeing to do them. Can you kind of touch more on what exactly to say to these people, whether it be like a lead from your CRM or whatever, to be able to convince them or kind of guide them in the right way of the reasoning why they should do a buyer's consultation, rather than, well, why can't you just show me now? Or why can't you just show me tomorrow? Why do we have to sit down and do all this? Because those are common questions that they get.
Yeah, absolutely. Marshall?
I would like to piggyback on that.
Okay.
And just tell you what our experience was with that and the way we approach that. And so I'm curious as to whether or not you would agree or how you would handle it. But now, granted, this was Zillow leads, so it may be a completely different animal with these leads. I don't know, but they're calling in on a specific house, and so the only thing we're really concerned about on that call is setting the appointment to go see the house.
Yeah.
And then do a buyer's consult
Yes.
after the showing.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yeah. So
I
that's,
mean, I've had it both
Okay.
ways. I've had it to where like they call
Which is-
the realtor.com and they're like, hey, we want to sit down and meet with you. And I'm like, great, well, let's do it. I would rather do it that way either. It happened to be that I didn't recognize the name until I got in front of this person and we actually went to high school together. I mean, I have had some, that's like, hey, I do want to see this specific property, and that's fine. But then you get there, I guess it's just kind of a risk you have to take. You get there and you find out that, they are not as serious, or, their expectations are just way out of the way for what exactly
that's the nail, like hitting the nail on the head is a key word you just said. But
What?
the first thing I want to point out is that one of the primary reasons of doing a consultation, and I know people that do it at they have that one house, they'll do it right there. If the house is vacant or there's no time constraints, they'll do the buyer's consultation right there in the house.
Mhm.
Like, all right, we've seen the house. Hey, you got an extra 10 minutes, just come here. I want to talk to you some things about the process and what's next and what we need to be focused on next. But the key word is expectations.
Mhm.
But if you don't have the opportunity to go show this one property to somebody, it's really important, like we've already said from the panel up here, it's important to get face-to-face some way, Zoom or FaceTime, right? So that's number one. The second thing is expectations. All right, so people want to know what's next in the process. They want to know what to expect. Some people have very unrealistic expectations. They think they're going to buy, if a house is listed at $430, they're going to try to get it for $380. That ain't working, right? That's not in this market. If they're dead set that's the deal they want, is they want to get, $20,000 to $50,000 off the asking price, may need to go ahead and say, hey, I don't think I'm the right agent for you. Like the buyer's,
It's gonna be the right agent for you, but
the
yeah.
buyer's consultation can protect you from people like that, because you need to, this is super important. But if you're going to accept the role of a professional, then you have to set expectations. Not only consumer expectations, they need to know what you expect from them. Okay, this is what's going to happen. All right, like if I had a house that I listed once, and the seller would call me like 5 minutes after the showing wanting feedback, and I got so frustrated with her, I fired her ASS. But the more veteran real estate agent now looks back on that and goes, hey, dummy, that was your fault. You didn't set expectations. You didn't set proper expectations. So a lot of time in this business, we're saying, oh, the person we're dealing with is crazy. But did we set proper expectations? Did we really?
I agree. I think sometimes we get lost in that too.
But if I had set those expectations and she was like, I don't care, I still want feedback 5 minutes after every showing, I probably should have said, to protect that relationship and to protect future referrals, I probably should have said, I don't think I'm the right agent for you. Like, we need to, value our no's and honor our yeses. And that's a good part of this. Like attracts like. This is one good thing about content creation, is that you're going to attract people that like you and are like you, and you're going to repel people that are not. And this is one thing that keeps agents on the sidelines of content creation, because they want to try to appeal to everybody. And that's the wrong approach, right? Now, Keri, I do have this buyer consultation in a PowerPoint format that I sent to, I think I sent you to, I think I did. We got to work on we're having some misfires on our.
Can you send it to me?
Well, I just found a whole
I
bunch of your emails.
I also, I
in
don't
my
know.
Oh,
I
really?
did too.
I just, like during this meeting, I found your emails in my spam.
Well, there should be some from Google Drive about a buyer's consultation.
I don't have that.
I don't know. I don't know how many of y'all are doing this, but I have a listing packet that I have put together, and I also have a buyer's packet that I put together that has the buyer's packet has a copy of the contract in there that you were writing the offer on. It's got the home buying process. It has like a little timeline. It has everything in there that I always take with me on listings and buyer consultations. Even if it's like a first time, like, even if I'm showing this person, a home for the first time, I haven't actually got down in front of them to go over this. I do take it with me, and I'm saying, like, hey, we have seen this house. Let's sit down and go over this. Here's my packet. Here's everything to expect. Here's exactly what this contract looks like. So they're not like, they're not telling me what they want to offer, and all of a sudden I'm emailing them an offer, and they're like, I've never even seen a contract before. What does this mean? But at least it's something they can take home with them, like those little magazines of what they can expect this contract to look like, so that they can go and read over it themselves, to be able to be like, oh, well, I don't remember saying this or reading this in there. Oh, well, I got it, so I can look back at it. I think that's I don't know, if that's just something that I do. Maybe nobody else does it.
The buyer's consultation class is like something that Diana should probably teach, and we should have a class just on the buyer consultation.
Yeah, let's do it.
I think
Go ahead, finish your statement.
I was just going to say this. I want to make sure you guys have this part down pat, okay? That you're accepting this into your brain, and that you are going to take action on it. I want you to pick. It can be one thing, 1 to 3 things, 3 to 5 things, a couple of these, or one. And like, Marshall, if you want to make this video tour of your subdivision, that's something I'll help you with. So that's something we could go together to go do, so that you're not out there going, what the heck am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not sure how to hold this camera. And then once I get done with the camera, what do I do with the footage? Like, I'll work with you on it. If you want to learn how to post, like, let's get 10 Craigslist ads going for the hottest subdivisions in Leeds Moody. Let's get those up and running right away. The thing I love about community-specific Craigslist ads, or foreclosure Craigslist ads, or condo Craigslist ads, is that you can just keep renewing them. They'll never expire. The listing ones, that property's eventually going to sell, and the Craigslist ad's no good. But these, you can just renew. Every time they expire, just hit renew, just keep them pumping out there, right? So you can have one for investors. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. Houses over 3 acres. Here's the greater Birmingham properties, 3 to 5 acres that you can get for under 800,000. So price range specific Craigslist posts are awesome. So whatever you want to do here, I'll work with you step by step on how to get this stuff launched so that you feel comfortable doing it, especially this part when the leads come in. All right, what is our touch schedule? All right, how do we do this? How do I create a video email? What do I say when I get on FaceTime? What's an effective voicemail so that I can increase the chances that I'll get a return phone call? So we can pick these and do specific projects to get these things implemented in your business. A big hurdle that we have to overcome is taking the information we talk about in the training room and translating it into an action plan so that these things get implemented. All right, any other questions?
You probably just answered this question.
Okay.
What I was going to be asking you was, I mean, it's almost like every single one of those things could be a separate class or
Yes,
2 or 3.
100%, yeah.
So is that something you would do one-on-one with us or in a class session like this or all of the above?
All the above. Yeah, so you have the ability to come to me and go, hey, I need a one-on-one session with this. Hey, I need the one-on-one session to be in the field. So it's
Jason's
either
great about that. Sorry.
Huh?
I said you're great about that. Like if you're like, hey, I've got a video idea, Jason's up for it. Like he wants to do it. So
well, one of the things
he's always out to help you.
one of the things that I have had to come to make peace with is that just me teaching it is not enough.
Right.
Like I need to get out there with you and do it. Like real estate agents do need hand holding, and if I do it for them, the deal is I do it for Kathy, I want her to do it for somebody else. Like as this thing grows, there's only one of me, and so we all have to. It's going to take the tribe.
Yeah, I mean, you're training us to be able to be better agents so that we can train those newer agents
Exactly.
that are coming in. So
Exactly.
it's a constant pipeline of education.
But the thing that can happen from that collaboration is that you and Kathy and Liz might go, oh my gosh, I need help with that too. And so y'all can come to me and go, hey, the next class, we needed to be about this.
Yeah.
The two really go hand in hand. The group training and then the one-on-one and the hand-holding in the field, that the implementation piece of it go hand in hand.
I might take you up on that with the previewing homes, because I mean, I've really never done that, so I'm just kind of grasping at straws on places that I think that would look good to show. So, maybe we can work on that, like find a community or whatever that we could do some of that previewing and show me what I can and cannot do to kind of promote and make it my content.
I've kicked this idea to a couple agents. Nobody's ever run with it, but $1 Million Agent Birmingham.
I want to do that though. But my worry is, number one, I want to do luxury homes, but I don't know all the luxury amenities.
I will totally agree with that.
So knowing and understanding.
So you mean what you're looking at?
Yeah, like I know this, I know this is a certain type of granite. I know this is expensive because the planks are this wide and it's this, or I know this is, specifically from, this is Italian, this is all of those type of things.
Get that information
I don't
from the
have.
listing agent.
But I also,
Yeah, but
it's
it's
a lot of information.
Yeah,
I
that is a
don't
lot of
know.
information.
Well,
Like I
yeah,
couldn't
but
tell
if
you
you
the
get
difference
if you get the list of all that stuff from the listing agent,
Mhm.
then go Google it and learn about those things.
Like what about my
How do you cater to these buyers? I mean, the luxury listings, they excite me. That's what I love to look at. That's what I would love
It's
to
a different
show.
class of people for sure. Like my Lake Cyrus house had that $9,000 Wolf stove. I didn't know that it was even a brand until I had no clue. I saw it was a big commercial looking stove and I was like, that's expensive. I had no clue what kind of, until they told me. So
Well, think about this. When luxury agents place Facebook ads, you have the interest, you can like tag the interest of people that, well, what are brands and things that luxury homeowners and homebuyers are into? Like a Mercedes-Benz, a Rolex watch. So they're like putting interests. It's not like when we think about placing a Facebook ad for real estate or to promote our listing, it's just like real estate and homes and, you know, like keywords like that. But they're using like tag watches and Rolex watches and Cartier diamonds and Tiffany and whatever else, what all this stuff is. Yeah. Luxury cars, vehicles, clothing lines, and it gets them in front of luxury people. You know, there is a very specific, I think this is interesting because I think we have touched on the fact that you want, that you're interested in luxury, but I think maybe, I think we see a niche maybe coming into focus. Because I think that's a big part about what your niche is and what excites you. So if you get excited about showing and seeing and talking about creating content about luxury life, luxury living, then you need to be talking to architects.
Also, a good resource, Dana and David. Go on a couple of, like, call Dana and David, who's in our BI group. There are construction people that I've personally used. I'm using them right now. Call them and be like, hey, I want to learn more about the luxuries in these high-end houses. Can I go with you on a project? Dana is awesome. He would let you go with him, and he can tell you all sorts of different things. Would you agree, Jason? I mean, like, he was an excellent resource to be able to kind of give you just at least a little bit of knowledge to kind of get your foot in the door if that's what you want to do.
Who is Dana?
He is with MSL Construction. He's within our B&I group, and they're just awesome.
The last several weeks I've been encouraging our other B&I members to reach out to our agents to take them to, like, you might have gotten some lunch invitations.
Yeah, I had a lunch invitation from an Andrew Woods and from
Who that is.
Morgan.
Morgan. So I've encouraged them to reach out to y'all to invite you to lunch so you can do one-on-ones and talk about their industry. But again,
Andrew Wood at Cahaba Mortgage?
Yeah, that's who I was thinking too.
Andrew Woods.
He's with Cahaba Mortgage in Charleston.
Yeah. He asked me for coffee and to talk.
Yeah.
And then.
So every one of those one-on-ones, that's a selfie opportunity. And it's a Facebook content opportunity. Hey, I had this amazing coffee appointment with Andrew Woods or Wood, and here's his primary skill. Here's his favorite loan program and why he loves it so much. Here's why he loves working at Cahaba Mortgage. Just start doing that.
Okay.
So, Grand River in Leeds, that area where the outlet mall is. And
Oh my God.
Buc-ee's and Bass Pro Shops. So there's a new subdivision. I don't know how long they've been around because I'm brand new to Leeds, so this may have been going on for a while. But there's a subdivision called Grand River, all new construction built by Newcastle Homes. And,
quality built home.
Yeah. So
great builder.
One thing I would like your help on is, I need to go get to know this community and find out all the floor plans of homes and so forth. And I'm sure they wouldn't mind me doing interviews and videos and so forth of model home or construction going on and then talking about their
if they do, they're insane.
Yeah.
Because they're not doing it. They're focused. They've got what their focus is. Like, we're focused on building them, doing our warranty work. The on-site salespeople are focused on selling them.
Just walking traffic.
Yeah, they're not focused on content. And I feel like, so this luxury niche, ideal for Kathy, what other new construction communities in the Leeds Moody area can we focus on? Because I'm telling you, this new construction specialist niche is a no freaking brainer. No brainer.
You're guaranteed sales.
And these are homes that are in the low 300s. That is a perfect price point for most of middle class.
Yeah. So what we would want to do is block out an afternoon and go there together. Just so, like, there may be a question that I asked that you weren't thinking of and vice versa. Like, we're just going to take a bunch of notes. We're going to take a bunch of pictures. We're going to get a bunch of video footage, and it's going to be a thing. It's a process, right? So a lot of agents show up, and like one of our agents, we went to a subdivision out in the Springville area. It was a D.R. Horton subdivision, hot. It's going to be like 3 or 4 phases when it's all said and done. And she was like, hey, I'm gonna get to know this community,
Call
all
Archer Cove.
all the models, all the things. I guarantee you she hasn't been back.
I can tell you all about the models in those houses.
So you need to understand that, for you to get some benefit from this, you're gonna have to follow through on what you say you're gonna do. Like, you're gonna have to become a master of all the models. What's the best-selling model? What comes standard? What's an upgrade? What's around the subdivision? So you know the amenities of the subdivision, but is there a great park nearby? This outlet mall, I mean, that's like content for months. They also do a bunch of stuff up there
Oh, my word, there's all kinds of activities.
that are going on all the time.
Buc-ee's.
Buc-ee's.
I mean, golly, who doesn't go there at 4
Who doesn't, how many,
And I know Kathy's about to kill me because she's a Texan, and this
Yeah.
is where Buc-ee's is from.
so she's a,
But-
It's everywhere.
But-
It is the coolest.
It's just a gas station for crying out
I
loud.
mean, you can get home,
Yes,
yes, you can get over there, and you can get food and jerky and.
Oh.
Yeah,
I
they're
got
cute.
a closing gift for my clients from Buc-ee's.
Yes.
They freaking loved it.
Yes.
Their food is really
It
good.
is good.
Oh.
Their breakfast
It's
is
overrated.
overrated. It's
Yes.
all right, so
Yes.
listen, so
Sorry,
this
sorry.
would be a great post, right?
I get you.
This is also the power of collaboration. Like, I think, like, we would be very well served if we use some of this time occasionally just to sit down and brainstorm on ideas.
I agree.
Because what just jumped out at me is
Closing gift, I would never-
What are the-
I would never thought about
a YouTube video where it's the top 3 to 5 closing gifts you can get at Buc-ee's. That's a
That's
bit.
kind of cool.
That's a
Oh,
video I want to watch.
Beaver nuggets and jerky
It is,
and
it's
brisket.
cute. They have
Is
their
that-
cutting boards. Buc-ee's, you're gonna
This
need a cutting
burrito's
board,
their
right?
first
Whether you're a buyer or a
awesome.
seller.
Their buds, they've got buds of
So if you're gonna go somewhere, you're gonna have it, they're like $8
I did
still.
some.
It's fine.
They have really great dried fruit too,
But
like packaged.
are the beaver nuggets just like done at home? Is that makes you want
I don't know, I've never had those.
Well, I love them Friday every week.
But,
All right, so
Sorry, I got.
we have our homework assignment. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to that subdivision, right? And we're gonna shoot a we're gonna start doing content and start our research. What you can do is like, next week, set up an afternoon where we go see 5 luxury homes. So you don't stop calling luxury listing agents until you get one. I know for an agent we can call probably right now with KW Homewood that's got a listing in Greystone we can go see that's on the market for 1.7 million. So I know she'd probably be down with it. But get us 5 and try to get them in a concentrated area. Like if we're gonna be in Greystone, let's just do Greystone for an afternoon. If we're gonna do Mountain Brook, let's just do Mountain Brook.
You're gonna have gate codes in Houston.
Yeah. So let's do Mountain Brook. I
I
mean, there's
can
some,
get you the gate code. My sister lives in Greystone.
Yeah,
Keri,
is
why are
that
you yelling?
For every community, or is it just for that one particular?
Jacob, we all stopped?
I don't know.
Full
Why'd
stop.
you ask me that? I don't know.
And I just thought of something that another agent did for me when I was like showing their luxury listing. He sent me his link for his YouTube to share it. Because they have the one for like he would like do that for all his agents, like anybody that would schedule a showing. He'd be like, hey, send a text, hey,